The slap echoed through the glass office before anyone realized what had happened. Keisha's palms stung from the force of it, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps as she stood in front of Victoria's desk, her pregnant belly pressed against the edge of the walnut wood. Victoria's head was turned sideways, mouth open, the red mark already blooming across her pale cheek. The entire marketing floor had gone dead silent. Phones stopped ringing. Keyboards stopped clicking. Even the hum of the air conditioning seemed to pause. Victoria touched her cheek slowly, as if she couldn't believe Keisha, the quiet junior graphic designer who always came in early and stayed late, had just hit her. "You," Victoria whispered, her voice shaking with disbelief and rage. "You actually hit me." Keisha didn't move. Her hands were trembling, but she kept them at her sides, her eyes locked on Victoria. "You said I should go home and wait for my baby daddy to leave me," Keisha said, her voice low but carrying through the open floor. "You said that in front of the whole team. You said I was a charity case. You said my child would grow up stupid because I'm black." Someone gasped from the cubicles. Victoria's eyes darted around, suddenly aware of the audience. Her mouth twisted. "You're too sensitive. It was a joke. God, you people can't take anything." "It wasn't a joke when you made me redo the Henderson pitch 5 times because my kind doesn't understand luxury branding," Keisha shot back. "It wasn't a joke when you told the interns I only got hired because of diversity quotas. It wasn't a joke when you rubbed my belly last week and asked if I was sure I knew who the father was." Victoria stood up so fast her chair rolled back and hit the glass wall. "Get out of my office. You're done here. Pack your things." Keisha didn't move. "No." "What did you say to me?" Victoria's voice climbed. "I said no, you don't get to fire me, you don't own this company." Victoria laughed, but it was sharp and brittle. "I am the head of marketing, I brought in every major client we have. You think they'll choose a pregnant temp over me? Security." Nobody moved. Keisha pulled her phone from her blazer pocket and set it on Victoria's desk, screen up. She pressed play. Victoria's voice filled the office, loud and clear from the phone speaker. "You really think you deserve maternity leave? You'll be fat and useless by then, just like all the others. I don't know why Marcus keeps hearing you diversity tokens. You're not even good at your job. The only reason you're not fired is because HR is scared of a lawsuit." The recording went on. 3 minutes of Victoria's worst moments from the last month. The comments about Keisha's hair. The mocking of her doctor's appointments. The time she accidentally sent Keisha's client presentation to the whole company with the file name Ghetto Final Fina Elforial PDF. Victoria's face went white. "You recorded me, that's illegal." "One-party consent state," Keisha said. "I checked, and I sent this to HR 10 minutes ago, and to Marcus, and to the board." As if on cue, the glass doors to the floor swung open. Marcus Delaney, the CEO, walked in with 2 men in suits and a woman Keisha recognized from the company website. Elaine Porter, head of the board of directors. The floor seemed to shrink. Victoria's mouth opened and closed. "Marcus, I can explain." "Don't," Marcus said. His voice was quiet, and that was worse than shouting. He looked tired and older than his 42 years. "Elaine flew in from Edinburgh this morning because of the email Keisha sent. Do you know what it's like to have your lead investor call you at 6 a.m. asking why your head of marketing is a lawsuit waiting to happen?" Victoria's hands were shaking now. "It was taken out of context. She's emotional. She's pregnant, she's—" "Say it," Keisha said. "Say what you really think, because I've been documenting it for 6 months. Every comment, every joke, every time you gave my projects to Amelia and told me I should be grateful to even be in the room." Elaine stepped forward. She was in her 60s, silver hair cut sharp, wearing a navy suit that probably cost more than Keisha's yearly salary. She looked at Victoria, then at Keisha, then back at Victoria. "We've had 3 discrimination complaints in the last 2 years, Victoria, all buried, all from your department. We thought they were isolated. We were wrong." "She's lying," Victoria hissed. "She's manipulating you. She wants my job." Keisha laughed, and the sound was hollow. "I don't want your job. I want to be able to come to work without wondering what you'll say about my body, my baby, my race. I want to do my job. That's all I ever wanted." Marcus rubbed his temples. "Security is waiting downstairs, Victoria. Your access has been revoked. You'll be escorted out. Legal will be in touch about the breach of conduct and the NDA violations. And yes, before you ask, the NDA doesn't cover hate speech." Victoria looked around the floor at the people who had laughed at her jokes for months. Nobody would meet her eyes. Amelia, her deputy, was staring at her laptop like it held the secrets of the universe. Jake from accounts was suddenly very interested in the floor. "You can't do this," Victoria whispered. I built this department, the Henderson account, the Blake campaign, all of which Keisha was lead designer on, Elaine cut in. We checked the files. Your name is on the pitch, but the work is hers. Interesting that. Victoria's breath hitched. Keisha felt the baby kick hard as if in response to the tension. She put a hand on her belly instinctively. Marcus saw the gesture and his expression softened for a second. Keisha, are you all right? Do you need to sit? I'm fine, Keisha said. I just want this done. It is done, Elaine said. She turned to the floor. Attention, everyone. Effective immediately, Victoria Hale is no longer with Delaney and Porter. There will be a full internal review of department culture. If anyone has experienced or witnessed inappropriate behavior, HR's door is open and my email is in the company directory. This company does not tolerate bullying. Period. 2 security guards appeared at the glass doors. Victoria didn't go quietly. You'll regret this, she screamed as they took her arms. You think she can run marketing? She can barely speak English, you'll see, when the clients leave, when the doors closed behind her, cutting off the tirade. The silence that followed was heavier than before. Keisha exhaled for what felt like the first time in 6 months. Her legs felt weak. Marcus pulled out Victoria's chair. Sit, please. She sank into it, her hands still on her belly. The baby kicked again. 6 months, Marcus said. Almost to himself. You endured that for 6 months and didn't say anything. I needed the job, Keisha said simply. My mom's sick, my insurance is through here, and every time I thought about reporting it, I thought about the last black girl who complained. Remember Tasha, from sales? Marcus flinched. Tasha had been let go for performance issues 2 months after filing a complaint. Everyone knew why. That won't happen again, Elaine said. I'm personally overseeing the restructuring. And we're going to need an interim head of marketing while we search. She looked at Keisha. Keisha blinked. Me? No, I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm due in. You know the clients, you know the work. You've been doing the job without the title or the pay for a year from what I can see in these files, Elaine said. We'll get you a team, full support, and we'll adjust your maternity leave to whatever you need. Paid, full year if you want it. Keisha opened her mouth, then closed it. The baby kicked again. I don't know what to say. Say yes, Marcus said. Let us start making this right. Keisha looked around the floor. For the first time, people were looking at her, really looking, not through her, not past her. Amelia gave her a small, hesitant nod. Jake mouthed sorry. Keisha thought about the nights she'd cried in her car before driving home, the doctor's appointments she'd scheduled on her lunch break so Victoria wouldn't mock her for wasting company time. The way she'd started wearing her hair straight because Victoria said her natural curls were unprofessional. Okay, Keisha whispered. Okay, yes. The floor exhaled. Someone started clapping, slowly at first, then more people joined in. Keisha felt tears burn her eyes and blink them back. She was not going to cry in Victoria's office. She was. The next 3 weeks were chaos. Keisha moved into Victoria's office on Elaine's insistence, though she had the glass walls frosted for privacy. The first thing she did was call a department meeting. She stood at the front of the conference room, 7 months pregnant, wearing a yellow dress Victoria had once called too ethnic for client meetings. Things are going to change, Keisha said, her hands resting on the table because her back hurt. First, no one gets to comment on anyone's body. Not mine, not yours. Second, every project will have the actual designer's names on it. No more ghosting credit. Third, if you have a problem with me, my race, my pregnancy, or my leadership, HR is on floor 3. My door is also open. But if I hear that you're making someone else feel like I felt, you'll be out. Immediately, are we clear? The room was silent. Then Amelia stood up. I'm sorry, she said, her voice shaking. For not saying anything, for laughing when I should have spoken up. I was scared of her, we all were, but that's not an excuse. Jake stood next. Me too, I should have done something. One by one, people spoke. Some cried, some apologized, some just nodded. Keisha let them. She didn't forgive them, not yet, but she listened, because she knew what it felt like to not be heard. The Henderson account was the first test. They'd been with the agency for 10 years, and Victoria had handled them personally. The day after Victoria was fired, their CEO, Richard Henderson, called Marcus. I'm concerned about the leadership change, Richard said on speakerphone. Marcus looked at Keisha. She was sitting across from him, a bottle of water in her hands because the nausea was back. Put him through to Keisha, Marcus said. Keisha took the call. Mr. Henderson, it's Keisha Williams. I was lead designer on your last 3 campaigns. I know who you are, Richard said. His tone was cold. Victoria said you were emotional, unstable due to your condition. Keisha felt the anger rise, but she pushed it down. The baby kicked as if telling her to stay calm. Mr. Henderson, with respect, Victoria is no longer with the company because she created a hostile work environment. I've been doing the work. I'd like to present the new campaign concepts to you myself. If you don't like them, you can walk, but I think you'll want to see them. There was a pause. You have 1 hour, my office, and if this is a waste of my time— It won't be, Keisha said and hung up before he could finish. She presented the campaign in his boardroom, standing for 40 minutes because sitting made her dizzy. She talked about market research, color psychology, and the emotional resonance of the designs. She didn't mention Victoria once. At the end, Richard leaned back in his chair. Victoria said you weren't client-facing material. Keisha met his eyes. Victoria said a lot of things. Richard was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood up and held out his hand. Welcome aboard, Ms. Williams. We're increasing our spend by 20% next quarter. I want you handling it personally. When Keisha got back to the office, she went into the bathroom and cried, not from sadness, from relief, from the exhaustion of having to prove herself twice as hard for half the respect. She put her hands on the sink and looked at herself in the mirror. You did it, she whispered to her reflection. You really did it. But it wasn't over. Victoria wasn't done. 2 days later, a mass email went out to every client, every vendor, every employee. The subject line: the truth about Delaney and Porter. The email was 3 pages long. It called Keisha a diversity hire who slept her way to the top. It said she was playing the race card and the pregnancy card. It said Marcus was weak and Elaine was buying into woke nonsense. It attached photos of Keisha from her Instagram, photos of her at her baby shower at her mom's house in a swimsuit from 2 years ago. She's unstable, the email read. She's going to ruin this company. I gave Delaney and Porter 10 years of my life, and this is how they repay me, by replacing me with someone who can barely— Keisha didn't finish reading it. She closed her laptop and put her head in her hands. Her phone was ringing. Marcus, Elaine, HR, clients, her mom. The baby was moving nonstop like it could feel her stress. There was a knock on her office door. Amelia stood there looking terrified. Keisha, I know, Keisha said. I saw it. The Blake account just pulled out. They said they don't want to be associated with drama. Henderson is wavering. I'm so sorry. Keisha stood up. Her legs were numb. Get me Marcus and Elaine now and call legal. The meeting was in the main boardroom. Marcus looked like he hadn't slept. Elaine was on her phone, snapping at someone in legal. She violated her NDA, Elaine said as Keisha walked in. Multiple times, we're suing, but the damage is done. We've lost $1.2 million in projected revenue in the last hour. She sent it to the press too, Marcus said. It's going to be online. It's going to be a story. Let it be a story, Keisha said. Everyone turned to her. What? Marcus asked. Let her make it a story, Keisha said. Her voice was calm, but her hands were clenched under the table. Because I have a story too, and I have 6 months of recordings, emails, and witnesses. She wants to go public. Fine, we go public, but we don't do it defending ourselves. We do it telling the truth. Elaine studied her. You're pregnant, 7 months, the stress. The stress of being quiet almost killed me, Keisha said. The stress of wondering every day if today was the day she'd get me fired. The stress of my baby hearing her heart rate spike every time Victoria walked into a room. I'm not doing that anymore. If we're going to lose clients, let's lose them knowing who we are, not hiding. Marcus was quiet for a long time. Then he nodded. Okay, what do you need? What Keisha needed was the truth, all of it. She sat with HR and legal for 12 hours straight. She handed over every recording, every email, every timestamp note she'd made in her phone. March 12th, 3:47 p.m., she read. You should be grateful we let you people in the building. My grandfather would roll in his grave. Witness, Jake from accounts. He looked at the floor and didn't say anything. Jake, sitting in the room, went pale. I'm sorry, he whispered. I know, Keisha said. I'm not doing this to get you fired, Jake. I'm doing this so it stops. For the next girl who looks like me. They built a timeline. 6 months of abuse, corroborated by 17 employees who finally spoke up once Victoria was gone. They found the emails Victoria had deleted from the server, but forgot were backed up. They found the Slack messages where she told Amelia to make sure the pregnant one doesn't speak in the client meeting. They found everything. And then Keisha did something Victoria didn't expect. She called a press conference. She stood in front of the Delaney and Porter building, her hand on her belly, wearing the same yellow dress. News cameras were everywhere. Twitter was already blowing up with Victoria's email. #diversity_hire was trending. Keisha looked into the cameras and took a breath. "My name is Keisha Williams," she said. "I'm 7 months pregnant. I'm a black woman. I'm the interim head of marketing at Delaney and Porter. And I was bullied for 6 months by my former boss because of all 3 of those things." She played the recordings, not all of them, just enough. The one about baby daddy, the one about you people, the one about her hair. She let the words hang in the air. "I didn't want to be here," Keisha said. "I wanted to do my job, have my baby, and go home. But I was told over and over that I didn't belong, that I was a token, that I was a joke. I'm not a joke. My child is not a joke. And I will not be quiet anymore." She looked straight at the camera. "To every black woman who has been called aggressive for speaking up, to every pregnant person who has been told they're a liability, to everyone who has been told to sit down and take it because you need the job, I see you. And it stops with me." She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just told the truth. The internet exploded. #See you started trending within an hour. Women, black women, pregnant women, people of every background started sharing their stories. The email Victoria sent was dissected and mocked. The recordings were played on morning shows. Victoria tried to do a counter-interview. It went badly. She cried. She blamed Keisha. She said she was taken out of context. The interviewer played the "You People" clip. Victoria had no answer. She was fired from her next job within a week after they saw the interview. The Henderson account came back. Richard Henderson called Keisha personally. "I was wrong," he said. "I listened to her. I didn't listen to you. I'm sorry, and we're doubling our spend. My daughter is pregnant with her first child. I showed her your press conference. She cried, thank you." The Blake account didn't come back, but 3 new accounts, bigger than Blake, signed on. They said they wanted to work with a company that had a backbone. Elaine walked into Keisha's office a week later with a folder. "This is your contract," she said. "Not interim, head of marketing, full equity, full maternity leave paid for a year, and a clause that says if anyone in this company pulls what Victoria did, they're gone. No review, no second chance, gone." Keisha opened the folder. The number made her hands shake. Elaine, I don't." "You do," Elaine said. "You earned it. You bled for it, now take it." Keisha thought about the 6 months of silence, the doctor's appointments she'd hidden, the way she'd stopped talking in meetings because Victoria would mimic her. She thought about her baby, due in 2 months, who would grow up knowing his mom didn't back down. "Okay," Keisha said. "Okay." Victoria's fall was fast. The lawsuit from Delaney and Porter drained her savings. No one in London would hire her. She moved back to her parents' house in Leeds. Her LinkedIn went dark. The last anyone heard, she was working at a call center, refusing to give her name on the phone. Keisha didn't feel sorry for her. She didn't feel happy either. She just felt done. Keisha had her baby on a Tuesday, a boy, 8 pounds, 6 ounces. She named him Marcus after the CEO who believed her and after her grandfather who told her never to let anyone make her feel small. Elaine was the first visitor at the hospital, holding a giant teddy bear and crying. "He's beautiful," Elaine whispered. "He looks like you." "He looks like trouble," Keisha said, laughing through the exhaustion. Marcus Delaney came by later with flowers. He stood awkwardly at the foot of the bed. "I'm not good at this," he admitted, "but I'm glad you're okay, both of you." "Me too," Keisha said. She looked down at her son. "Me too." 6 months later, Keisha was back in the office, baby Marcus in a sling on her chest for the board meeting. He slept through the entire revenue report, which was a record high. "So," Elaine said, smiling at the end of the meeting, "any other fires we need to put out?" Keisha adjusted the sling. "Nope, but if anyone mocks a pregnant woman in this company again, they won't just be fired." She smiled, but her eyes were serious. "They'll be dealing with me, and I don't lose." The room laughed, but everyone knew she meant it. The last scene is Keisha at home, baby Marcus asleep on her chest, her laptop open to an email from a young black intern. "Ms. Williams," it read, "I just wanted to say thank you. My manager was making comments. I was scared. Then I saw your story. I reported him today. HR listened. I don't think I could have done it without you. Thank you for not being quiet." Keisha closed the laptop and kissed her son's head. She thought about Victoria, about the 6 months, about the slap that started it all. She didn't regret it, not for a second, because sometimes you have to make noise to be heard, and Keisha Williams was done being quiet. If this story hit you, if you've ever been silenced, if you've ever had to fight to be seen, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe because we're telling the stories that need to be told. And comment below, have you ever had a Victoria in your workplace? What did you do? I read every single comment, and your story might be the next one we tell. Don't let them quiet you. Not ever. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next one.